welcome to the Get At Gaming Plus podcast. We are here every week, and I messed that up, but you know what? I'm still gonna continue. We're still gonna
We're
roll
just gonna
through it,
roll.
and it's totally
Yep.
totally fine. But yeah, we're here every week. We talk about nerdy stuff, whatever you like here, whether that be video games, sometimes anime, kind of like today. But we also just talk about the news and just honestly just things that we like a lot. And one of the things that we like a lot are special guests, and we have a special guest today.
We do.
Special guest, if you want to introduce yourself and yeah, tell everyone about yourself.
Hello, my name is Aiden. I'm a very big into like playing and collecting, like sort of like I play a lot of like older. I like to play a lot of like PS3 and Xbox 360 games. I don't know why, but like those games to me are just like more fun. Like I feel like those games had more time put into them than what we get today. Everything today seems kind of rushed and whatnot. But yeah, thought about starting a streaming, but yeah, pretty simple, but yeah.
You forgot the most important thing of all, which you are my child.
Yes.
I claim you on taxes for now. So
For now.
for, until I can't, I'm going to be collecting on you until they say I cannot.
I like how you said like I like playing older games, and then you kind of stopped, and then you're like, no, PS3 and 360. Man, now I feel old. Like when I
Yeah.
think of older games, I think of like I don't know. I think of things older than the NES. When I think of older games, I think of like Atari.
I think
Yeah.
older was a bad word. I should have used something better than older.
I mean, to be fair, like
2
honestly,
gens.
I mean, if you talk about things, I think technically 360 and PS3 are almost considered retro at this point. And
Yeah.
that's a scary thing to think
What?
about. That means I am old. That means we're all old.
That's
Well,
crazy.
and you think about this, Aiden, when you are older and your
They're
kids are
gonna be
like,
ancient.
you're going to be like, oh, I had this PlayStation 5. It was the greatest. So like, what is that?
I don't
And
know
then
about the
you are just
PS5.
like,
Maybe like the PS3.
And
Because you say like around 10-year cycle, maybe
who
per console.
knows? It depends. It used to be a lot faster.
yeah.
But man, that's crazy to think of. But side tangents a little bit. 10 years from now, or like whenever, like in the future, I feel like cartridges might not necessarily work. But I feel like cartridge based systems, older systems, are going to work a lot easier and better than newer systems, just because there's so many more little parts that go into like just to make a PS5 work. If you look at it funny, like it
Right.
might do that random thing that people are doing class action lawsuit about, where it just randomly just like, nope, you turned me off incorrectly. We're doing weird stuff here. But yeah, man, now this is the old podcast where we're almost 2/3 old. And we like to
Yes.
talk about old things. And one of the old things that we like to talk about today, well, now I don't even know if we were just gonna go right into it. Do you want to just? This is a different episode. Do you just want to go right into things, or do you want to do other things?
Yeah, you know what? You've got a really, I think this used the news story first.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
I feel like this is in Alex's world and several others. This is very large news, and then we can just jump into it. But yeah,
All right.
we definitely should talk about that news story.
Yeah, for sure. So, first news story here. I can't show news stories today because having three people on one screen, I didn't prepare for that. So, for audio listeners and video watchers, you're seeing and hearing the same thing. So Yakuza 8, first images were revealed, and they're returning characters from Yakuza 7, so Like a Dragon. So, you can see Ichiban in there, Adachi, Nanba, and yeah, there's just some screenshots of like character art on computers. They also talked about how it's going to be in a new town, and then the MMA fighter Mikuru Asakura was giving a tour of it, and I guess they're also going to be in the game as well,
Oh,
as some sort of I'm not sure if a main character or not, but yeah, that is a thing that's happening. Um, this game is still going to be a RPG since they talked about a while ago. Um, well, one, a lot of the older developers for all the Ryoga Gotoku games kind of just quit. um, but yeah, from now on, all the Ryoga Gotoku, so Yakuza games, are going to be RPGs, and then all the Judgment spin offs are all going to be like how it used to be. And I believe that's just going to be from now on until they decide to go a different direction again. But yeah, just wanted to let y'all know that's a thing. I know Yakuza 7, Like a Dragon, did really well, and a lot of people really liked it. I never finished it. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It was really good and really fun. It was a really cool RPG, but I going from a beat 'em up to an RPG just took me out of it a lot. And like maybe if
Yeah.
that's how it started, sure, I'd be more okay with it. But I was so used to just like button mashing, grabbing things and throwing things, and yeah, just making an RPG where I have to wait. Normally, I'm fine with RPGs, but because
Yeah.
I know how much more fluid the combat can be, I miss it. But
I mean,
yeah,
I will tell you, I've played very little of the Yakuza games, but I have played Judgment, and I do feel like keeping that style. But I do feel like his fighting style is a lot different than the Yakuza games. It's very like almost Bruce Lee-ish, you know? Um,
yeah. His fighting style in that is it's more like I forget. There's a specific type of style in like Zero. Um, so it's one of those styles, but you don't use it often, I want to say. But
yeah,
yeah, I can definitely see that. I hear like it's Bruce Lee, but yeah, I miss those types of games. I should go back. I never played Lost Judgment. I never finished Judgment either, um, because I was playing too many other Gotoku games. Anyway, yeah, that's the news for today, and that's the episode. Thanks you for watching and listening. No. So we thought that we should do something a little different this week
yes,
and other weeks, and we decided on the long car car ride home. We just started talking about Dragon Ball randomly. Ben and I went on a little trip to go visit someone, and we came back, and like yeah, we just talked about Dragon Ball for like an hour. It's a fun time. We should have recorded it, but anyway, um, so that got us to thinking like, oh, we should talk about our favorite Dragon Ball games, and so we were gonna bring like top five, no particular order, um, to the table. Um, and then now I guess we're gonna do a top three because Aiden hopped on, which is awesome. But if we all do five, then this is going to take 10 years to record.
Celebration for the new movie coming out.
Man, that new movie, I've seen clips on TikTok, and like I'm excited.
The whole movie is probably it's leaked across. It's awful. You can't hide from it.
Yeah, but I mean to be fair, so I personally like watching things in Japanese, regardless of how much nostalgia I have for like the American accents and all this kind of stuff. As I've grown older, I tend to listen to more of the actual source material, how it is. Um,
yeah,
and so one of these games, one of the newer games, actually, I guess two of the newer games, I switched to Japanese audio with English subtitles instead because I had the opportunity to do that. So I just did. I watched all Super in Japanese. Um,
Mm.
and so same thing with the two of the movies. I watched Broly in English because I was with someone. Um, but there's no way. I'm assuming when this movie comes out in theaters, it's probably going to be in English only because I am in the minority of that. Even though Battle of Gods came out in both English and
It
I
did?
Japanese
remember
over
that.
here, yeah.
Hmm.
So Yeah, so I don't know. I'm not going to see that in theaters, so I'll have to wait even longer, or I can just find it somewhere because, like you said, it's everywhere. Um, but yeah, Dragon Ball Z, is a huge franchise by Akira Toriyama, and by being a huge franchise, especially about fighting and stuff like that, sci-fi stuff, fantasy stuff, you get some video games for it. So we brought 3 to 5 games here that we think are our favorites, and yeah, so now I don't want to be mean, but at the same time I kind of want to call on you, Aiden, and make you go first.
Fair enough. That's fair.
So I mean, that's guests always have to go first. That's the
I
rule.
mean, that's what I would have done.
That's true.
Always,
Okay.
I would have. Ask Alex.
That's what you always
These
say.
games are not in particular order. I just kind of have them. I mean, sort of. There's ones that I prefer over others, but for my three, my number one, I picked Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. Um, honestly, you get to create your own character. You get to train under, Goku, Vegeta, anybody from the Dragon Ball franchise, really. And overall, it's just a blast. I mean, I still play this game to this day. Every once in a while, for nostalgia, I'll hop on, or they add new DLCs every once in a while. So I hop on, do the new missions, do the new story, do whatever needed, and just kind of go back and play it.
What I think is particularly like unheard of in a video game is they are still legitimately doing DLC. This game's what? This game
2015, 20, no, 17, 18, I think, maybe.
I looked this up once. I just know that this game came out like a year, like a year after the first one, which was like crazy to see.
It was really fast after, yeah.
Yeah,
because I don't think the first one did well. If I remember correctly.
Very glitchy.
Yeah. So Xenoverse 2016 for 2.
so for a game that be out that long and still be doing DLC is
Should have
just
just made
unheard of.
3. I feel like they're gonna use up all of. I mean, obviously not. There's still more stuff they can add, but I feel like they're gonna add all of the new exciting stuff to the game that's older instead of just making a newer one. I mean, there is
Mhm.
rumors that there is a 3, but
Yeah,
you
I
know,
thought that was
it's
leaked
one of
with
the
that
yeah.
ransomware attack that
Yeah,
happened a while back.
I think it said Q4 of 2023, but you never know.
I mean, I think the Dragon Ball universe is so popular, and what they did in that game, adding story and doing that, I think was done well. I particularly did not like that one, but watching them play Kakarot now, and seeing how much it's like so open and stuff like that, I can see why people would love this. There now, if I remember, weren't these supposed to be like an MMO uh Dragon Ball games, or am I thinking of something else?
Something else, I think.
Because I know
Well,
This had a lot of online like lobby stuff. I didn't the first one have an online, like a big online lobby. And I
yeah,
think it
there's
was
separate
mostly
lobbies.
focused on online originally. It might still be to a degree, but it's mostly focused in a lot
It's
of
heavy on the online because there's certain parts of the game like you can unlock like um your mentor as Vegeta and you can customize him to like change his outfit or change his movesets. And you have to go through online play to unlock the keys to unlock them. So they want you to play online to get the extra stuff.
can you give them the stash like Dragon Ball GT? Can you customize them like that?
Well, actually, no. They just added Dragon Ball GT, like GT Vegeta, like base form, not Super Saiyan 4, but like base form. They did just add him, like 2 weeks ago.
that's crazy that 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
and they're still getting DLC.
It was the
That's
first DLC in like a year, though.
still,
Yeah.
it's. I think that's testament of how much like they wouldn't be adding DLC if there wasn't a player base. Because
Yeah.
DLC is so expensive to make. So
Yeah, and I thought I heard that there was DLC for Kakarot as well coming soon too. Um, so we'll wait for that. But cool, yeah, awesome. I've never played Xenoverse or Xenoverse 2. Those are two that kind of just fell off my radar. I wasn't really watching or doing anything Dragon Ball at the time. Um, yeah, I the last until the PS4 era, the last Dragon Ball game I played was Burst Limit,
Oh
which
wow.
was
Never
on
played
like
that one.
360. It was basically it was 360 PS3. It went up to Cell Saga, and it was basically Budokai, but with assists and stuff like that. So it
There's
was
a
back to a
lot
2D
on
fighter.
PS3 and 360. There's a lot of Dragon Ball games on the previous gen. There's a lot of
Mhm.
them.
Yeah. But awesome, cool. So I'm gonna make Ben go next.
As expected. So I I picked three that that I played a lot of, and ones that I really thought were great. And I'm gonna do Dragon Ball Fighters. Um, they came out with this game. It was not a big three dimensional. Yep, there it is right there. That game looks fantastic. It controls great. It was so good that they have been using it for the pro circuit tournaments for a while now. Um, you know, being able to jump into combos and air juggles and supers all at once. And then they did like several different types of supers. So if you're Goku and you're fighting at somebody else, you can do like a special one. Or, you know, the work that went into that game was fantastic. Now the group that made that game, it's not surprising how good it looks. But they're still adding characters as well. I think talking of rumors, there was a rumor that they are doing a Dragon Ball Fighters.
I think it's
Uh,
Super, I think is what it's called. It was under the
yeah,
same ransomware
Yeah.
leak thing.
maybe that's true, and maybe they're just gonna do one with all the DLC. Um, maybe they're gonna do a brand new game altogether. I don't know, um, but they are due for another game. When we first got that game, I was just hooked. Being someone that played a lot of Street Fighter, the controls are as tight as Street Fighter, and to get a game that's a fighting game that have that much there, it is really hard to do. Um, and what's crazy, it's 3-on-3, and you can have people come in when you need them to. Um, Reminds me of a little bit of Marvel versus Capcom, like 3, how you can shuffle them in and out. Um,
Do supers with your teammates.
yes, which is even better. So if you have certain characters, you could do certain kind of supers. Um, I think the best thing was is they got all of the voice actors together that were doing it. Um, and they went through several different of the series. So they went from Dragon Ball Z all the way up to Super.
Mhm.
You had Goku Black, and so I had to put that on my list. The game is insane, fast, fun, and I think out of all the games I'm going to talk about today, it's the best looking out of all of them. If they ever did a PS5 version, uh, that would be insane. Running at the full frame of the PS5.
Yeah. This was probably on my list if you guys don't steal other things. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. This is all just a collection of just everything that we like, so it doesn't really
Right.
matter what's on whose list. But I will say, out of all the games that we're going to be talking about today, as far as fighting games goes, objectively, Fighters is the best one. Just because it is a true fighting game. It is made by, like you said, Arc System Works. It's the people who do like Blaze Blue, Persona Fighting, BB Tag, like so many big fighting games, and just bringing that into a Dragon Ball game is very smart, and it's shocking that it took this long to do it. And like even like when you look at this game like running on Switch or whatever, the only things that like lag or don't look as good are just the backgrounds. The game itself still plays fine because they just lower the frame rate of everything else behind them, and then the game themselves like it plays the same as PS4. It's just different controls and stuff. But yeah.
I know you're gonna go into another thought there real quick though on a tangent. Other anime groups that are making anime video games, that are making fighting games, need to look at this, take an example from it. Hire the right studio to do it that is used to doing these types of games.
See, the thing is, though, what you're saying, like, I understand what you're saying and it makes sense, but they're all under Bandai Namco. So it's just Bandai Namco just choosing different things.
Right.
Because, like you're talking about, Naruto, like, Ultimate Ninja Storm type stuff, or, like, the My Hero
Storm
game.
4. I love
Yeah,
Storm.
and stuff like that. Like, it's an arena, like, a 3D arena fighter. And, yeah, 2D fighters are personally my favorite for the most part. You can do like Storm 4, like you said, you can do a good arena fighter. But I don't know, just 2D fighters are better in my opinion. So cool, awesome. Yeah, it's shocking that this game has been out since like 2018, I think. And yeah, we got all that DLC. I didn't get any of the DLC at all. So I played it quite a bit in the beginning, and then like all fighting games, I fall off of them. No matter how much I like them, I fall off of them because everyone I know isn't playing it anymore. And without any rollback netcode or anything, online is useless. So there's no way of playing well against anything or anyone. So yeah, I don't know if this does have rollback netcode now, but hopefully it does someday. So cool, awesome. I guess yeah, it's me now. So I don't know if I want to bring up this. I mean, I talked about it a little bit already, sure. Because my others are obscure, so I'll just bring this one up right now. So yeah, we have Dragon Ball Kakarot. This is a very good game. If you have experienced Dragon Ball Z like a long time ago and you still like enjoy it, but you have like rough memories of it, this is kind of what I did. Honestly, I played the Ninja Storm games to basically just get a crash course on Naruto Shippuden, because it's basically watching the anime, but like very compressed down to
No
like
filler.
the things that actually matter. And so kind of same with Kakarot for the most part. Like it does do everything. Some things have changed here or there, but like overall, like it does tell the story very well. And you do the saga because it starts with Raditz and all of that, the Saiyan saga. And then after each one, you have this like break of just like, all right, you can go do stuff for a while, just do all your side quests, and then when you get bored of that, then go and do the next thing. I will say the completionist in me dropped this when it came out because there was just a lot to do. I got out of the Frieza saga, and then after that, you're just Gohan, and you have to like go in your house to like start the next thing. And there's so many different just so many different side quests and stuff I hadn't done yet that it was just intimidating. And like that's awesome for people in some games, but for me, like when you give me too many things to do, that's when I'm just like, I don't want to play you at all. Give me things little by little, maybe. Or like even just collecting the Dragon Balls, because you have the opportunity to just collect the Dragon Balls and then make a wish. Spoilers for Dragon Ball Z, just the show, the anime, manga, or whatever. If you don't want spoilers of Dragon Ball Z, get out of this podcast, but please come back later once you have finished Dragon Ball Z. So after the Cell Saga, or during the Cell Saga, I guess they get Dende, and Dende has a new dragon. Like they use the Dragon Balls that already exist and get a new Shenron essentially to like fast track it, so they can get a new one, and you get 2 wishes out of it. And in this game, like you can get Dragon Balls and you just get 1 wish, and you can use it for like fighting characters again and getting them on like your stat board. You can wish for money, you can wish for whatever, and then that's just it. But it's by story, so like by the end of the game, I had 3 wishes, and then like it was much more worth it to do all the side quest stuff at that point, because then you could just go do stuff, collect the Dragon Balls, and then once you have them, instead of like wasting all your time getting Dragon Balls just doing 1 wish, you had 3 wishes there. So yeah, so eventually I just started playing the game just on my own, just trying to steamroll through it, and it made more sense to do that because it did reward me in the end. It's just like, hey, you beat the game. Now you can wish all these other people back. You can wish Nappa back and fight him, and then he joins you. You just do like that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's a 3D fighter, but it like locks on to characters. It's very basic. You have attack button, you have a key button, and then you also have like dodge and something else. And you can turn into like Super Saiyan or whatever transformations. You have shortcuts to get to your actual like special attacks. It feels very Tenkaichi, or something like that. And normally I'm not a fan of those types of games, but because the story is so good, because the game looks so good and runs so well, I was hooked on it after I started playing it again. And I beat it, and then I got the DLC for it since it was on sale. And last thing I did, I was doing the Battle of Gods DLC, where it's just like, hey, get to level 100. Cool. Now get to level 200 with each character. And like, what? This is way too much. But they give you just these power items where it's just like, just basically rare candy yourself. Like that's what they want you to do. Rare. And it's just like, yeah, it's crazy. But anyway, Dragon Ball Kakarot is an excellent game. I highly recommend people play it. Even if you haven't really like digested Dragon Ball before, Dragon Ball Kakarot is a easy way of getting into the series, just at a base level. You don't really need to know anything. There are a lot of references. Ben and I were talking about it in the car that one day, where like you fly around like in the beginning and you just see characters from original Dragon Ball just like on the ground on the map, like just like the guy from the first World Martial Arts Tournament was there. You see one of the androids in the Arctic, Ader. You see just a bunch of like fan service characters, and that's really cool to see in this in a game. Like they really made this for fans, and that's awesome to see. Hopefully, yeah, if they do like a Super one or whatever, it'll be really good. I would really hope this is never going to happen. I always like original Dragon Ball a lot better than Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z is excellent, but original Dragon Ball is just, for me, it's my opinion, it's a better anime and it's less sci-fi. So I like it about that. So yeah, I really wish that we could see a game like that, but we're not going to see that anytime soon.
Going so far in the timeline that it's just going to get to the point where Dragon Ball gets almost forgotten because there's just so much. When people think of Dragon Ball, they instantly think of Dragon Ball Z. It's really not Dragon Ball anymore.
Yeah, exactly, and it makes me sad because like Dragon Ball Z is good, and also, I mean, I guess a little history lesson. Dragon Ball Z came out in America first. We also got like maybe Curse of the Blood Rubies and Mystical Adventure here or there, like on VHS tape. But like they were like Dragon Ball movies. But otherwise, like the first things like that Funimation did, the reason why Funimation exists was to localize Dragon Ball Z because Gen Fukunaga knew that the Western audience would be like all over it, and they were. Um, so yeah, that's why a lot of people do forget about Dragon Ball because Dragon Ball over here came out afterwards. Um, so yeah, it's crazy, but yeah, Dragon Ball Kakarot, or Dragon Ball Z Kakarot over here. It's a great game. Recommend it for everyone.
All right, so that means it's back to me then. I'm assuming.
It is.
On my list, I did have Kakarot, but since you mentioned it, I don't need to mention it again. But on next, I have it's a mobile game, so it's not like one of the most heard of.
Mm.
It's called Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle, and I love this game. This game is so much fun. Like when I'm just like kind of like chilling, like watching YouTube, I'll have this on because like you can kind of like autoplay and like clear levels just kind of just as you do stuff, whatever. Right now they're celebrating their 7-year anniversary, and they just released like these new Super Saiyan 4 units, and you know I'm all over that because GT is like one of my favorites. It's very underrated, but I love GT. But it's like a turn-based like strategy kind of. You basically like kind of like collect these orbs and then you get super attacks. I mean, like the game looks like it's straight out of the anime. I don't know if you could really see it, but I mean, there's literally like the Super Saiyan 4s or whatever, and it's really cool. But it's very like kind of like under the radar because it's mobile and people aren't keen on mobile. But it's one of my favorite Dragon Ball games probably.
I will say I have played it a long time ago. Um, it is fun. It is fun. I don't have any games on my phone anymore, um, but I do have them on my tablet,
It came out in
and
like 2017, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Well, 7 years, so
I mean
probably
here
around.
though.
Yeah, it's on its 7th anniversary because they
Okay.
have the
Here it is.
Japanese
Okay.
version and
Okay.
the actual US version.
Okay.
So
I mean, I think it's a.
2015.
I think I think mobile games have gone a long way. Like one game I used to play all the time was literally like video game company. I think Kiro Soft is the one that made it. Super
Yeah, I know what
simple.
you're talking about. It's a game dev
Yes.
something. Yeah,
Yes.
because there's Game
And
Dev Tycoon on the computer, and then there's like Game Dev Simulator or something, and that's when I played on my phone.
yeah, and I think now, like with that, what he just showed there, it's pretty comparable to a Vita or something like that because the way cell phones can handle now, and even tablets. So I have played it. It is pretty fun. I'll
Hmm.
give him that. Um, and I think it just kind of shows how far the Dragon Ball universe can expand.
I have not
So
played it. I saw someone play it once at my old job, and that's why I was trying to think of like when it came out. But yeah, I think I saw someone playing it in 20 2016, 2017. So that's why I was trying to think of when it actually came out. Yeah, I don't really play many mobile games, so probably won't pick it up to be honest. But yeah, it does look really cool. I've seen a lot of cool things about it. And then that one had an OVA as well, right? Like it had a movie that was based off of it with like like some special guy. Might think about a different game.
I think that's Xeno. I think the guy no, yeah, because I think that was Xenoverse because that
Something
guy
called
that
like
was like
Heroes or
the
something.
no Heroes. Yeah. It's kind of like that because technically they're cards, so I guess you
Okay.
can kind of assume they're not
Okay.
like really related, but the idea of like how it plays is related,
Okay,
I
because yeah,
guess.
Heroes had like a movie, like a whole movie that came out for it
Yeah,
in
they have a
Japan.
show. It's like a promotional anime for the
Hmm.
actual cards, I think.
Okay, cool. All right, Ben, what you got?
okay, well, I'm gonna say the last. I was kind of choosing here between the two, but I'm gonna go with now. There was two versions of this, so I have the NAS version called Dragon Power. This is what came out here in the States, but it was a original Dragon Ball by Bandai. And it literally followed the story like with Goku. So You would visit Master Roshi for power-ups. You would fight the Red Ribbon Army. Um, a lot of the characters that you fought, that Goku fought in there, were in there. There's, I think, the world tournaments in there. Now, this game is very difficult. Um, I have not gotten very far, ever.
Mhm.
But this is like the first time that Western audiences here, we're seeing this. This was like 1987 is when this came out. And for the audio listeners, I have a copy of Dragon Power here. I'm kind of showing for NES. Um, I think it's cool because the graphics were decent enough that you could tell that's Goku.
Mhm.
He had the tail, he had the staff, he had Nimbus. So it was really cool game for the time period. Why they called it Dragon Power here, I have no idea. Um, there's even a guy in the front doing
marketing.
probably there's a guy doing karate in the front, which looks nothing like what the game actually is. Which, hello, welcome to NES.
Mhm.
But yeah, like I wanted to add that to the list because it is a fun game. It's hard, but it's still something that I feel like is necessary to be on this list just because it is a fun game and is one I've played. I've played quite a bit of it. Yeah, I mean, there's really not a lot to talk about it. It is like I think I've gotten to like the second boss. That's about it.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, I was just looking it up. That's a cheap game too. Like it's easy to find, which is crazy. You would think that something like that wouldn't be because once
I think
people
if
know
it
what
had
it
the
is.
name on it, if it would have been worth more. If it would have had the name Dragon Ball on it, I felt that would have been
Yeah, I'm curious though how many people like know about it. Then.
actually know that that's what it is.
Yeah, because I mean, like it's made by
Yeah,
Bandai. I see, so like it
yeah,
is. It's them
Doesn't it
yeah,
have Shenron on the cover?
essentially. Yeah.
yeah. Well, there's a dragon on the front, but it's not Shenron. Um,
Walmart Shenron.
yes. But it is weird because you can get the Famicom version, which is Dragon Ball.
It's a blue cartridge too, right? Yeah.
Yep.
They're like big
Uh,
old like fat cartridges.
it would actually be cheaper for me to collect Famicom because they've gone down in price.
Mm-hmm.
But it just opens up a whole new world of trying to get all of the Famicom, games or
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, this one is pretty common. I don't think people know what this really is. So a lot of times when you hear collectors or even people on YouTube that pick it up, like, oh, it's Dragon Power, it's like a fighting game. I'm like, no, it's legitimately Dragon Ball. Is what it is, which is really cool. So yeah, I was gonna say you should check it out, but unless you have a system that can do it or you're emulating it, it's very, you know.
Yeah. Yep. All right, I guess it's me next. So, I opened this up. So, I have a few things. I have a couple things I guess I can show if you guys don't choose them. So, I'm gonna do this one next. Because actually, I don't know the two things I have here. And I don't think you would choose these at all, to be honest. I don't know if they're too
My
old
last
for you.
game's on like PS3, so
Okay, so no, definitely not.
probably not.
These are PS2 games.
Okay, then definitely not.
PS2 is where Dragon Ball did a lot. Like there's Dragon Ball Sagas, which is awful. But then there's also the original, like best game before Fighters. There was Dragon Ball Budokai 3.
I had that on my original one.
Yeah, that was on mine as well.
It was on the PS3. I was gonna have it because I played it on the PS3.
Yeah, because that was weird. The remake, the HD of that came with Budokai and Budokai 3, but not
Yeah.
Budokai 2. Even
Yeah, that
because
is weird.
Budokai 2 was actually really cool. I guess people didn't like it, but like it was like a board game and you had to like move your
That's probably
characters
why.
and do stuff. And then once you got to the board game part and like went to the character to fight, then you actually fought.
I think that's what Heroes is on. There's a Heroes game on Switch, and I think that's what it is. It's something like that.
Huh.
I don't know.
Cuz
It's
like yeah.
related. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're like this little piece, and you can like choose where to go.
They're
And you
like
can either get an
figures.
upgrade, or you can go and fight, and then you actually do play a fighting game at that point. Once you are fighting, but yeah, Budokai 3 was like the first one to really have like an open world. open world. You could go and search for Dragon Balls. You could um, play the story. They had things called capsules where you could basically do equipment on each of your characters to have custom characters, and I forget what it was called, but there was one capsule that you always wanted to do. Like once you like beat a character completely or bought all their stuff, it was like unlocked, and then you could just have everything. There's just one capsule that just took
Like
everything.
unlock potential or something. I thought it was something
No,
like that.
it's something else. But it's for every single character, and basically instead of having to choose like Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2, this and this, um, on your thing, you just do this one thing and it just like takes over your whole slot, but then you have access to all of their attacks and all that stuff. You just can't do any like equipment stuff instead. But
No.
yeah. Hmm?
Oh, I was just saying, sorry. Didn't Atari make those games?
Yes. Yes, they did.
That is also a funny thing that Atari was making games for that system, and because they did like Test Drive and a bunch of others. Uh, it's crazy to think that Atari had the license to make those games.
I think that was if not, I don't know. I never played 2, but I think 3 was the first one to have Super Saiyan 4s as playable characters. I'm not sure.
I
I'm
don't
pretty sure.
remember. I don't remember if 4 is in there or not. No, I'm
They're like
thinking.
a secret. They're like, because I remember going downstairs and playing at 2 in the morning when I was like 12, trying to unlock the Super Saiyan 4s. It's like a
Yeah,
secret like cave. It's weird. I don't remember how it works.
yeah.
But
I know in that game, it might be a different game that I'm going to talk about here in a second. But I know in that game, I think it had like Vegito and Gogeta.
yeah,
I don't know if it actually
you could
had.
fuse mid battle. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, because like you could choose like fusion as like one of your capsule things.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember if it actually had Super Saiyan 4. It might. Yeah, I think it might be another game, but who knows? It's been a while since I played these. But yeah, Dragon Ball Budokai 3. It's a broken game. It's very it's a 2D fighter, but it's also like kind of like Soul Calibur or something a little bit, where like you can like short hop back and forth, so you can just dodge someone by just like hitting down and like X or down and whatever. I guess PlayStation would be down and cross or X, and or up and X, and you would just basically just like when someone's shooting a blast, you could just like dodge and like it would just go past.
It's kind of like the early stages of like a 3D arena almost, because it was
Yeah.
3D, but it wasn't like
Yeah,
I
because
don't know
you
how to
couldn't
explain
actually
it.
you
It was
couldn't actually
2D slash
move. You could just
3D.
do
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it.
dodging and stuff. You there's also like charging, obviously, taunting. But yeah, it had a lot of fusions. It had a lot of joke fusions. Where if you messed
Oh
up,
yeah,
you get old man, you get the
Fat
fat go
Vegeta.
tanks. Yeah, you get a lot of that kind of stuff. So yeah, this game is a game that I just used to play all the time when I was younger. I don't know if I'd recommend it now. Like you said, there is a PS3 360 version, but I heard like that one isn't as good. I played it back when, but I think there were like weird glitches in it if I remember correctly when I was playing it. Just because that's what always happened
Or
whenever
issues.
you port it to something. Um, but yeah, it's a nostalgic game, and check it out sometime if you want to.
All right, so I get to pick my last game. It's also on the PS3. I don't think it was on PS2. The first one might have been on PS2. It's Dragon Ball Z Raging Blast 2. This one's kind of on the same line. This one very 3D heavily. It's you can fly, you can be on the ground, underwater. It's very 3D element. Um, I like this one because it was very free with the amount of transformations you could do. Because some games just have the simple, the 1, 2, 3, the simple stuff. But This one had like the different levels of Super Saiyan, because like in the Cell Saga, Vegeta went and he became like the fat Super Saiyan, where like he was like really huge and buff. You could transform into that, or you can do like the normal Super Saiyans, which I thought was really cool. And they had like non-canon transformations. Like in the game, there was Super Saiyan 3 Broly and Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, which is
I
not
remember
in
that.
the anime, but they're in the game, which I thought was really cool because you never saw those, and those were like really new characters you could play as.
Mhm.
Um, I don't remember if the fours were in that. I don't think they are. Um, the You could fuse, like if you had Vegeta and Goku on the same team, you could fuse into Gogeta or Vegito, the respectable ones. Or
Mhm.
yeah, but it was really fun. It's a game that I still have to this day. That every once in a while I'll boot up and play with my brother, because we used to play the crap out of really any Dragon Ball game that we could get on the PlayStation.
I will tell you, I introduced them to like Dragon Ball,
Mhm.
and they had it pretty good. I think Alex and I remember when they were showing it on Adult Swim, once one episode a week or a day. You
Well,
literally, you
when
know,
I watched it, I might have changed time slots, but when I was a kid, and I was in elementary school, I remember I've talked about this probably a lot of times. The first episode I ever watched of Dragon Ball was where Trunks shows up for the first time, and it's just like that first beginning of the Android saga where
Right after
Frieza
Frieza,
and King
yeah.
Cold pop up, and then you see him just like fighting, and then like the fight with like the sword versus the finger with Goku and all that kind of stuff. So like that was the first time I ever watched it, and that was after school. That was at like
yeah,
3:34, and then eventually, yeah, I think they did a lot of the movies, and then maybe later they started putting it more on like Adult Swim and uh Toonami and stuff. But yeah, I remember that show coming out during the day or like right after school for a bit.
that's when I was watching it. But I introduced them to it. I don't even know where we watched it, or maybe it was one of the movies. Um, you know, and it just it just blew up,
Hmm.
and they started wanting the games, and you know, um, all this time though, and I introduced him pretty young. Aiden's been a pretty diehard Dragon Ball fan,
I have a
but
shelf dedicated to it. It's
yeah,
wouldn't be able to see it even I didn't have this blur thing on, but it's a dedicated shelf to like my Funkos, my statues, my cards, anything I have related to it.
I think,
Oh,
uh,
I even have just on my desk, I have Gogeta just chilling on my desk.
yeah, I think definitely it's definitely there. You know, that's a pretty fun game. So, all
Cool.
right, so I'm gonna do my last game, which I know Aiden not played this. I'm gonna check and see if it's on my emulated system because he needs to play it, and I know to me this is probably one of my favorites. It is Dragon Ball Z: The Legend of Goku for Game Boy Advance. They
Oh,
did
that's why
two
I
of
haven't
them.
played it.
This game was just so much
There are
fun.
technically three of them, but the third one's called Boost Fury.
Yes, yes, top downish, kind of almost like Dragon Power, and you have to follow storylines, and you have fights. Um, I think it was just like a really, really great game. It showed the power of what the Game Boy Advance could do. And I had the flip, I had the SP. Um, I may or may not have played this game through an emulator on my laptop, but it was a really good game. Um, and that system alone had a huge amount of games. Like you mentioned, the three, all three of those games are great.
Hmm.
Um, they're great games. They are RPG ish in the fact of like, you would level up and you would earn more powers and you would earn more things. To me, I could play that game for hours, you know? Um, it just was a good game. And it followed the storyline pretty well. So they started off, one part and then went over, all the way up to I think Cell, maybe, or maybe that's the second one.
I would assume if there's a third game that's called Boo's Fury, I would assume it
Yeah,
wouldn't.
but there was a lot packed into this game, like a lot. I'm pretty sure this game followed the Red Ribbon Army, and it did all that.
Yeah.
But it was definitely like it was definitely something that was um, it was just a really well done game on a system that it looked great on that system.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to add to my list. I actually had a couple others, um, but yeah, that was definitely on my list. That was my last game there, but it was I had to keep it.
Cool. So fact checking myself from earlier, Super Saiyan 4 is indeed in Budokai 3. Um, and the thing that I was thinking about, the capsule was called Breakthrough. You would put it on everyone, and then they would get all their abilities. Um, but then you suffer by not being able to put equipment as well. But then Breakthrough gives you all your basic abilities, but if you want a fusion, then you have to just put fusion on there instead.
Yeah,
That takes
Fusion, I
over
remember
everything.
being like, it didn't let you do other things. Like, I thought if you used Fusion, you couldn't use like certain Super Saiyan levels or something. Or
Yeah,
you couldn't equip super attacks or something like that.
you couldn't.
It was a
It
trade
was
off.
basically just like just to get to fusion, and that's it. So that's why the game was really broken. Because it was just yeah, you could just do that kind of stuff. So the last game I have here for today is I think it's relatively expensive now. I'll have to double check. Um, but the game I have here today is Budokai 3, essentially, again. It's called Infinite World. It's for the PS2.
Oh
And
wow!
it is, I got this like for $20, I think, when it first came out. And it's basically Budokai 3, but with more characters, like movie characters, even. And yeah, it's just a better Budokai 3 in my opinion. I don't think it did too well technically because it came out when the 360 and PS3 were already out, I want to say. Cuz this came out in 2008. So, yeah, cuz that stuff came out like 2006, 2007. So I think Raging or not Raging, but I think Burst Limit and stuff were already out on 360 and stuff. So this game kind of fell off the radar because when I bought it, I got it from like Walmart and it was already just like in a cheap section because it was an older system. And so I bought it immediately. And yeah, it's just it's Budokai, but with different characters from all like the movies and stuff. You even got like Super 17 in here on the
Oh
back of here
wow!
as well. You got PyCon. Um, so like yeah, there's just a bunch of mission modes. This is more than 40 characters and 100 transformations. This is another Atari Dimps type game. So
But you think for that system, that's a lot for that
yeah,
system. Um, which, by the way, complete in box is going for like $70.
well that's complete in box right there.
I mean, I think um, I think a lot of the games we talked about today, except for my Dragon Power, are going, you know, all going up in price.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
I think mine. I was because I was talking about it today when I was thinking about putting it on my list. It's like $60. So like it's like a brand new PlayStation 4 game or a PS3 game that's pretty old and a PS2 remaster even.
yeah, absolutely. Um, it's crazy to think that even that one you're talking about, that's the two games for PlayStation 3, the HD remasters. I wouldn't be surprised if that's expensive game
That's what I was
now.
talking about.
Yeah, it's
And I
crazy.
only play the third one, and I didn't like the first one because it's kind of aged. No, I
Yeah,
wouldn't say poorly.
it looks
It's
bad.
just
It's not cell
yeah, it's
shaded.
just aged.
Yeah, it's 3D polygon colored on stuff. It's not cell shaded like I think 2 and on were cell shaded. So like it doesn't age poorly with that with the art style and stuff. That's why
Yeah,
that's like way Wind Waker still looks really good and always will look good because it was like one of the first real like cell shaded games. Yeah, $70. Wow, crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I
yeah.
only would play the one, so it's like kind of weird that to spend that much on a game, you're only gonna play one of the two games that come with it.
Yeah. But,
I think, and I think, um, I also think like definitely as we talk about a lot of these games, um, some of the older ones there, I would love to see a collection come out. There was so many of these games. Now, granted, license was with somebody else.
It'd be a pain to get all of those
It would be, but
licenses.
it would be so fun to have all
It'd be
these games.
really good. It'd make probably decent money too, but
Oh, Dragon Ball still, I think. That when Alex and I were coming back, we were at our buddy Zach's house for a game night, which was awesome fun. Thank you to our buddy Zach. Um, but as we talked, I mean, Dragon Ball is just a huge, huge franchise, and just when you think you've seen everything they're gonna do, they come out with something new, like this movie. This movie looks like nothing
brand
they've
new
done
art
before.
style.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
And they're
been a
gonna continue.
pattern with their movies because Broly was completely different art style too, and then this
Yeah,
one's completely different. So
I think
it
they're just
looks
gonna
really
keep
good.
doing more and more what they've been doing, and I feel like doing a game is just like a no-brainer.
yeah.
When was the last game? Was it Kakarot? Was the last
Yep.
standalone title?
Yep. And that was
And
like
I think
2
it's
years
done very
ago.
well.
Yeah, I think it came out 2020. I'm pretty sure.
I think so too. But yeah, it has been doing really well, and there's like a season pass and stuff that comes with let's see, it comes with the two of the movies. So it comes with Battle of Gods, kind of. It's like I said earlier, it's not really Battle of Gods, but it does have Beerus and stuff. And then it
Uh,
also has the
Resurrection F.
Frieza, yeah, Resurrection F, and then it has History of Trunks as well in it.
They need to add the Broly, the DBS Broly.
Nah.
Oof.
Yeah. I did not like that movie.
Yeah,
Really?
No, because okay,
Oh.
so I'm going to crap on maybe your favorite anime movie right now. So the reason why I don't like the now I just feel like an ass. The reason I don't like the Dragon Ball movie Brawly, one, Funimation ruined it. And it's all green. If you notice, like the original versus the newer ones, like there's a
Green,
green tint.
blue.
There's a green
Yeah,
tint on everything, and that's only in the American version. It's crazy.
really.
Yeah, and it's stupid. And then also, the fighting, I hated it when it just went CG randomly.
That was really when Gogeta. That was kind of like they went into like this like alternate dimension. That I didn't understand that piece really. They like broke the like dimension barrier or something. I didn't really understand that, but I like the art style for most of it.
Yeah, it's just my issue is whenever they're fighting, I feel like it was more than just that. I feel like there were a few times where they were fighting and then just randomly, when you saw close-ups, it was CG for a tiny bit, for like a split second, and then it wasn't. Um, and I think it was just because it's easier and cheaper to do
CG
CG.
ruined one of my favorite
Um,
animes too.
and so like to make the newest movie just CG, that's fine. You can do that, and that's perfectly fine. But to like muddy, like yeah, put them
Mix it.
together and just like kind of hide it, like I'm not okay with that.
right.
So yeah, that's just one of the many reasons why I didn't like that movie. Also, I've only seen it in English, so that's probably another reason why.
I think it's funny. Like, I have two really favorite movies, and literally, it's Lord Slug. I love that movie.
One that no one likes,
Yeah, no one
apparently.
likes it. And then Battle of the Gods, but
Yeah.
I only like
I like that
Battle of
one.
the Gods when they're Barris is there and he's sort of big fit about something, and then he slaps Vegeta's wife,
Hmm.
like
Oh,
backhands her, and then he totally loses his crap, which you don't ever see Vegeta do about anybody else, right?
Yeah.
And then for a minute there, you're like, holy crap, he's gonna take him. For a split second there. Um,
Hmm.
And I like Vegeta because Vegeta reminds me of myself in the mornings. So,
More
uh,
like all the time.
yeah, there's that.
Oof.
After this podcast, he'll be grounded. Uh,
Forgets
but
to turn off the cameras.
yeah, I do think I think as we go move into the future, there's going to be even more Dragon Ball games.
Yeah.
I'm so glad the series and like the show and stuff are still continuing.
Hmm.
I just can't wait to see what they do. They're working on something specific for the next gen systems. I can't wait to see what it is.
Yeah, for sure. Who knows what it is? Honestly, um, it could just be another fighting game, and that's totally fine. Like fighting games could probably still run on PS4. It's just a
Yep.
matter of what's in the background that's running fine.
Not my PS4. I got the
Yeah.
day one PS4. That thing's on life support.
Oof.
Yeah,
But yeah, who knows? Like, yeah, seeing a Kakarot 2, something like that. Seeing an original Dragon Ball game would be really cool too.
It'd be cool to see that through the Tournament of Power in Kakarot's art form. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, for sure. Like
Dragon Ball Super Kakarot or something like that.
yeah, I'm sure they're probably gonna do that because Super does it
Quite
did
lengthy.
well. It did well. It's a lot that they could do.
They started it with Resurrection F was the start of Super, so I guess they have one of the bigger arcs already kind of checked off the list. I mean, there's still like the one tournament. There's like a few tournaments they went through that they could definitely do a second game with. That's not gonna be as long, but it could be because then they could
Yeah.
do the two movies like Broly and then Super Heroes or whatever it's called.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot that they could do. Dragon Ball will always be a big franchise, whether anyone likes it or not. I know people like to complain and nowadays, and they're like, "Man, Dragon Ball's dumb. I don't like Dragon Ball." It's like, dude, you were like the biggest Dragon Ball fan as a kid. Like, what's your problem? Like,
exactly.
it's overrated, but honestly, it at the same time, like sometimes it is just rated. Like it is it can be
Even.
good. Yeah, like it
It's
can
a
be
top 5
overrated
for
at
me.
certain times, and but overall, like Dragon Ball Z especially can be very very good, and it's very quality. It's just a lot of things that people don't like are the tropes of like, oh man, it takes 20 episodes for him to do something. That happened like twice. That happened in the Frieza episode, or like him fighting Frieza at the end. Like, yeah, that was like 5 or 6 episodes of him just fighting. And then there might have been some stuff in the Cell tournament, but overall, like things did happen fast. Like, it, what are you talking
Right.
about? It's not a bad show by any means, but yeah, it's Dragon Ball is great. Dragon Ball Z is great. GT is fine. Um, yeah, right now the thing that the internet loves to do is the internet hates new things. So right now, Dragon Ball Super is the worst thing on earth, and everyone all of a sudden just loves GT, and that's not
GT is
true.
fire. That is.
But that's not true though. I mean, sure, like no one liked GT, and
This
you can
thing-
like GT, and that's totally fine. But it's that revisionist history that I always talk about with so many different things, whether that be
nostalgia.
yeah, well, like what do you call it? What were the 2 games? There were 2 Zelda games. Majora's Mask. No one liked Majora's Mask. I was the only one who liked Majora's Mask. Shut up, everyone. And then also Wind Waker as well. Everyone wanted
Right.
the next Twilight Princess and stuff. They're like, oh, this is gross. This is too kid-like. And now everyone's like, yeah, I was playing that. It's the best game ever. It's like, no, you weren't. You weren't
I
playing
feel
that.
that. I had the same conversation. I know this is off topic, but with the Spider-Mans, when I was all about Andrew Garfield, everybody hated the Amazing Spider-Man films, and then after this movie came out, everybody hopped on the Amazing Spider-Man bandwagon, and now I look like one of them.
Well, I think everyone always liked Andrew Garfield. It was just the writing for the movies aren't great. The first one
No.
is amazing. No pun intended.
Yeah.
It did, like, it ranks higher, like on par with me with like Spider-Man 1 and 2. Like it is very high up there. Like it might be
Right.
the best Spider-Man film. But anyway, this isn't a Spider-Man podcast right now. This is a Dragon Ball podcast that is honestly gonna end here right now. So if you like what you hear, consider hitting that follow button on youtube.com/GetAtGaming, where you can find us on there. Get us to 500 subscribers, I guess. New milestone. Do that, please. And you can see our lovely faces there. Those podcast episodes post on Fridays. And then on everything else for audio feeds, you can catch us on Wednesdays and find us over there if you hate our faces and just don't want to see us and we're all Quasimodo to you and you just don't want to look at us because we're all disgusting. So you rather just listen instead. Yeah, just go to any of those different places, whether that be Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts is the same, Amazon Music. Yeah, there's so many different podcast services, and if we're not on one of them and you want us to be on them, hit them up and be like, hey, why isn't this person on this podcast service? I really want
That's
them on
right.
here. So go ahead and do that. If you want to be a bro and go to anchor.fm/GetAtGaming, you can leave us voicemails. I know that none of you want to leave voicemails because you have to make an Anchor account. You know what? I feel you. That totally makes sense. But at the same time, be a bro and just do it. Just buckle up. Make a fake email account. Just do it. It won't hurt you. And maybe you'll be on the show. We'll probably make fun of you, but like it's fine. We'll answer your question honestly. But yeah, do I even have a shout out of the week? I don't even know if I put one on here. Sure, we'll just do the same thing as always because I forget to
Well,
change
I will say to any of our listeners, if you are doing a podcast, you are a Twitch streamer, if you are doing anything you want us to do a shout out for, message us either on Facebook or Twitter or get a hold of us. Let us know. We would be glad to help you guys out, in any way possible, because we know for doing this for so many years that to get that following, sometimes it takes some work. So if you are looking to build that up or you're almost at a milestone, hit either Alex or I up, Facebook, Twitter, and then we can you guys into shout out of the week, which we do every week. So, but this one's a good podcast. This one we're going to talk about.
Yeah, so our shout of the week, which has been the same for a while, because one, we talked about him earlier, but two, I just keep forgetting to erase it because I'm too lazy to check for a new one. And so yeah, Squares of the Circle. It's our friend Zach's podcast. It's a wrestling podcast, and you can enjoy it even if you don't like wrestling. Like it's still very informative and really cool to listen to. We hung out with Zach over the weekend, and we all played WWE 2K22. Let me tell you, that game was awesome. It's really fun. 6-person game, and yeah, it was crazy.
I have to say this. So all the animations are from the original people. So I know one time I picked Ultimate Warrior, he came running out. And, sure it was cocaine filled, but he came running out. And then they had crazy characters. So if they were ever on WWE or WWF or whatever, they were on this game. Mr. T was on this game. Wasn't it? Who else? There was somebody else that was.
What about Logan Paul?
I don't think he's on there yet because
you could probably make him though. There's so many custom characters that
I've
you
seen
can
like
do.
Batman and stuff. I see it all over my TikTok page when it came out.
Yeah, like there's so many different things you can do. But yeah, there are also like really official people. Like Mr. T, Zach was telling us that he was actually DLC. He was official DLC.
Yeah. But didn't they? Who else? They had somebody else that we were like, how is this person in the game? I don't even remember who it was. But they also have like, I know a lot of people left to go to WCW at one point. You can either play as them for WWE or WCW. It's crazy. Like Andre the Giant was on there. Yokozuna. They had like 5 different Undertakers. We played a couple different matches. I didn't even know what I was doing most of the time, but it was fun. And so, I purchased it. I'm trying to talk Alex into it. If you'd like for us to stream us playing this game, shout it out. So Alex has to buy it then.
Wow, I see how it is. All right. Well, that's been our podcast. Again, thank you for listening. Thank you for doing all the cool things, the following, and all that stuff. And if you're not following us or doing any of these cool things, I'm gonna take the words from Reggie Fils-Aimé. What's wrong with you? Just do it. So, yeah, I don't really have much to say. Aiden, do you have anything else to say?
Nope, I guess just subscribe and download the latest podcast.
He didn't do the homework.
You gotta say, get at it.
Get at it.